Hello and welcome to Perchance to Dram. I have tonight a bottle of the GlenDronach Revival. That is their 15-year regular entry. And shout out to my dear Uncle Jack, who gifted me this bottle and brought it all the way from California here to Utah. Can't actually find this in Utah. They have the GlenDronach 12, and I think last year they got, 2 or 3 cases of the Revival, and it went out pretty quick. Plus, it was a little bit pricier than you can find it elsewhere. They're selling it for about $100, and Jack got this for $75 in California. I've had the GlenDronach 12, but I haven't had any other GlenDronach expression. It is quite famously a very sherried whiskey, up there with other Highland and Speyside sherry bombs like Glenfarclas and Aberlour and Macallan. So let's check it out. Matured in the finest Pedro Jimenez and Oloroso sherry casks from the Kingdom of Spain. GlenDronach is one of the older distilleries that's currently operating. It's, I think it says here the vintage 1826. It's a long time ago. Beautiful color, natural color, but we'll get into later. It usually when you see natural color, you're gonna see another thing with it about chill filtration, but conspicuously absent from the tube for the latest releases of at least of this expression. 2021. Can't quite see it, but it is 2021. So this is a brand new, basically brand new bottle. Looks like January 13th, 2021. All right. Oh, got some spray. Oh, that's lovely. I get like a little bit of leather. No, I can't quite. I mean, it's something woody, oak leaves maybe. Oh, that's a lovely cork. Floral, a little floral. There, like a rose. All right. Let that open up. So, I would be remiss and dishonest if I didn't mention that one reason I want to try this whiskey is because of late the subject of this particular whiskey and recent changes in the bottling process for it have let's say generated some discussion in the whiskey community. Famous YouTube whiskey reviewer who broadcasts from the Irish Sea in Bothy, Ralphie, called out Brown-Forman who's the owner of GlenDronach, as well as in the Scotch whiskey space, I think BenRiach and Glenglassaugh, and of course, in the American whiskey space, Jack Daniels, Woodford Reserve, early times. So anyway, Ralphie called them out a bit on the fact that the whiskey is now chill filtered. It no longer bears the guarantee or assurance anywhere on the packaging that it is not chill filtered. So it's safe to assume that it is. They removed that for a reason, and so I think to a lot of people that's a little bit of just an inside baseball, term, and what does chill filtration mean, and particularly, a lot of people assume that it has really only to do with the effect that cold or ice or water has on the spirit with a lower ABV. This is 46 ABV. A spirit that's not chill filtered can become cloudy. In this case, 46 and above, generally, you're safe from that, and the cloudiness is really doesn't make anything bad. It's just for some consumers it would put them off. I think there's a little bit of a deeper reason, and that has to do with some of the compounds, the long chain esters that are removed in chill filtration. Of course, all whiskey is filtered. There's sediments and other solids, so all whiskey is barrier filtered. But chill filtration is where they chill it and then filter it, and it removes some of those compounds. And I'm not experienced enough to be able to necessarily taste the difference between two of the same whiskey that is or is not chill filtered. However, with those that aren't, generally they're going to have a bit of a richer and more robust mouthfeel. There's some oils and other things in what is those compounds that are lost in the chill filtration process, that can add character and depth and body. And I think that's one thing that definitely is cause for concern. I mean, personally, I would definitely prefer natural color and no chill filtration every time. I don't think it's something that, if the whiskey sounds good, if you're interested in it, is necessarily should disqualify from a purchase. It should be part of your decision matrix, as it usually is for me. But I was pleased enough with the GlenDronach 12 that I've had. I was in the mood for a sherry bomb, and I wanted something that you couldn't get here in Utah, and so my Uncle Jack picked it up for me. So, here we go. Oh, that is quite, it's dark, but there's some sweetness in there as well. Presumably from the Pedro Jimenez or PX, which is quite a sweeter sherry or fortified wine. Citrus. It's a dried fruit, but a little bit more, I wouldn't say muted, but a little bit on the sweeter side than I was expecting. Maybe some banana in there. Oh, and now we start to get syrupy. A little bit of sultana. Chocolate. syrup, fruit compote, fruit cake. Very noticeable without dilution. Maybe my nose is a little stuffy, but I'm really not getting any burn. Ooh, interesting. Quite sweet there. I'm starting to get a little bit of honey molasses type notes. A little bit of caramel. It's definitely got, I'm feeling in the vicinity of wood. I'm picturing the inside of a cask. But with the staves, clotted with honey and fruit. Yeah, all right. Slosh. Yeah. So that is pure dessert. I mean, it's very sweet. It says on the packaging like cherry, and yeah, that first note on the palate is just very sweet, but also quite like runny, thick, kind of cherry syrup or flavoring, and then you get this crescendo into a very warm, somewhat spicy, burst, and your typical, I wouldn't say typical, but a characteristic sherried Scotch with dried fruit, and chocolate and spices, and then on the finish, it goes a little sweeter, I feel like. So it's not super dry, but again, it's putting me in the mind of just a hint of rubber, and like an Italian soda, like cherry Italian soda. Mm. Ooh, and yeah, now that I go back for the nose, it's bringing out the sweetness a lot. Again, the cherry, honey. Ooh, fruit leather. Oh, tiny bit more floral. I'm kidding. Mm. And yeah, caramel and honey, tiny bit of vanilla. Mm. Yeah, I would say the finish is not quite as lasting or rounded and satisfying as I would typically gravitate toward in a whiskey. Um, very good, and it's definitely something I needed in my cabinet, and something that will scratch a certain itch. You know, when I feel the need for something like this. Overall verdict: if you can get it for uh, $75, and you're into sherried whiskey, I would definitely recommend. If you want something a little cheaper to get into GlenDronach, then try the 12-year. All right, well, thanks for watching, and yeah, to drink, perchance to dram.